Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another session of the Playhouse, aka the Diaspora series. This is the first in the Diaspora series, and we have got a superb conversation that we're about to have. I hear a lot of you guys asking, what do you mean the Diaspora series? What is this going to be different from the Playhouse? I'm like, nope, absolutely nothing different. The only thing about the Diaspora series that we get to talk to different people from who are in the diaspora, moving and shaking and doing big things, man. I feel like there's a disconnect between the diaspora and home and the diaspora. So we've sort of started this part of the Playhouse and calling it the Diaspora series because we're going to have a lot of people from the diaspora just coming and just giving their conversations. Now, with that said, in the building with us, we have got one of those producers, one of those people who are doing superbly amazing things, not just in the music industry or in Kenya and abroad, but I'm also talking about in business, and we're going to be hearing all about this. You may be wondering, whomseni nani? Let me just give you a little sneak peek of some of the people that he has worked with. He has produced for artists like Nonini, Waire, Bamboo, Calligraph, Joakali, Abbas, Dubes, Wangeshi, Jimot, Alasi, Emoji, Ukoflani, and Rabbit, Lady B, Kainel, and Red Sun, Dij, Christophe, Major. He has produced for international artists like Chris Brown and Jay Lucas. But guess what? Those of you who are wondering who made that beat by Nyashinsky, now you know who made that beat by Nyashinsky. Hey, see what I did there? That's cool. So anyway, we're going to hear such an amazing story. Share this video because this is about to get to be one of those just hot conversations. Ladies and gentlemen, Keggah, Paul, I haven't done your intro justice. However, I need your help on this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together for none other than Keggah, aka Beatia Keggah.
Feels good to be here. It's an honor, and I'm really humbled. Thank you so much.
Hey, boss, you're nice, and you've been get TV mode. Here we just vibe. First and foremost, it's an honor having this conversation. I'm actually excited to have this conversation. And if you want to talk to guys, talk directly to the screen. This is just it's such a free conversation.
Yes.
Otherwise, unabonga na mimi. But if you want to say something directly to the Kenyans, to the diaspora, to anybody watching, just speak to the screen. So the first question that I like asking on the Playhouse or on the Diaspora series is, tell me a little bit about your growing up in Kenya. First of all, were you even born in Kenya?
First of all, yes, me in Kenya damu.
Government names?
Keggah Kenodia. Keggah Kenodia.
Keggah.
Yes.
So Keggah is really your name?
Keggah is my real name.
Okay. So okay,
no stage names. What I would say about my youth in Kenya and how it came about for me to get into music the whole reason why I got into music was my brother. He was my babysitter when I was 3 to 5, and he was a music producer.
Oh, nice. Who's your bro?
His name is Keggah. He's a doctor.
Oh, he's a doctor.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me even ask some foundational questions.
Yes, please.
Where were you born?
Zimmerman.
Nairobi, Kenya, Zimmerman.
Nairobi, Kenya, Zimmerman.
And what year can I ask? Si lazima useme.
1987.
87? Bro, that's not too bad. That's not too far ago. So you're born in Zimmerman. What number in the family are you?
Second born.
Second
so
born.
I was the little one who had to follow the firstborn around.
And how many are you?
We're just 2.
So it's just you and your bro?
Yeah.
Okay, so you say your introduction into this music world was, continue another story.
My brother was like a really computer guy. He was a tech savvy guy. Like, he built his own little computer, and I think he had this program that was called EJ. I can't remember it very well. I was really young. I was like 5, and basically he just had little loops, and you put them together and you make a song. And that's so from like the time I was 5, I was just playing around with little loops, playing around with little samples, just moving them around.
5, bro.
5.
Yo, in Zimmerman on a comp, you're just playing around with so it's you, is your dad and mom
involved? Yes. Yeah. So my mom noticed I used to do this. Like I would spend the whole night just doing this, and then she'd always sit there and wonder what I'm doing. So I'd always I used to do it with my headphones. So I'd put my speakers on sometimes, and then she'd be like, "Okay, I think I think there's some hope here. So she enrolled me to Real School of Music in Westlands.
Yo, so at this time, are you going to any other school?
No, I was taken to music school immediately.
What?
Yeah.
Your mom was with it. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it was just a place I would go, and they would teach me how to play piano, how to play guitars, that's where I learned like chords, progressions. But it started like literally 5, 6, 8.
Yo, so you didn't go like to KCP or immediately?
No, it was just music. My nursery, I was taken to socialize. Like,
but then after nursery, you go into music school.
After nursery, I go to music school.
That was, and this is like what year?
I would say 1990s.
Okay. And how was that now? Did you learn to sight read? Did you learn to play by ear, or what was it for you? What instruments did you learn?
Let me tell you, my first song was Mary Had a Little Lamp. Like literally, that was the first chord I kind of learned how to play. But then I continued moving. I think the more I progressed, the more I could understand how to play by ear, or I could just hear a song and replay it immediately.
So now you're playing piano.
Yes.
Guitar, you didn't pick up.
I picked up the violin also.
At what's the name of that
It's
school?
called the Real School of Music in Westlands.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me more about this. Do you have a piano at home, or it's only in school?
No, it's only in school. Later on, I think there's a time I did well in school, and I was bought for like a little MIDI piano that I added to my brother's computer. And that's when I downloaded Fruity Loops. The Fruity Loops I started using was not the one CG Fruity. Right now, guys, are on Fruity 21. I started with Fruity, the one that didn't have a number. Like, it was just Fruity.
You get this story. Already, I love this story in that. What do you mean you didn't go to normal school? That you went to music school. So your mom was super supportive of this thing that she saw in you.
You know, one thing I always believe is, like, in this world, you could have like 1,000 people who don't care about you, but all you need is that one person to support your dream. And that's all you need to succeed.
You don't have to speak about it, but is your dad in the picture?
My dad wasn't very supportive of the music, but then later on I found he had like a full CD of all my songs in his car. But he's always been like, do something else.
And he's at home, Is he living with you guys?
Yes.
Okay. Man, this story of yours is already sort of mind-blowing. Okay, tell me more about this school and the experience that you have in school.
The Real School of Music was like a basic tutorial on basically an introduction to music for me at a very young age. And it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about actually making music. It didn't tell me a lot about production. It didn't tell me a lot about how to record and how to mix and master. It just taught me, I didn't even know those words until I was like in high school. But then it taught me a lot of the basics when it comes to producing music, and it really helped me.
Okay, so you're learning chords, you're learning
bass lines.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you learning classical?
A lot of classical music.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So how long are you in this school?
Every day after school, let's say when I finally joined school, every day after school I still used to go for classes.
What do you mean when you finally joined school? I'm trying to understand.
Like when I finally went to nursery, I started going to Primo.
Yeah.
I still used to be taken to the Real School of Music like after class.
Okay. And now where do you go to Primo now?
Now Primo, I went to Aga Khan. Yeah. And also Aga Khan had a really good music program.
So from class 1 now?
Now from class 1, still music was still a big part of my life.
And how was Aga Khan for you?
Aga Khan was good. Like, I think being able to interact with people from so many different cultures, and it gives you a very huge expansion in terms of your knowledge, and it gives you a very big expansion in terms of what you're being exposed to. I'm not just listening to hip hop at home. I'm listening to Bhangra. I'm listening to classical music. I'm listening to like people from different parts of the world. Like, I was listening to different things.
In fact, that's a good question that's a good thing that you just brought up. So at this time, what are you listening to? So you're telling me there's a hip hop. Are you listening to anything Kenyan?
Right then and there, that's the time. You remember VOK had come out, and This a time, I would say, by the time I was getting to Primo, that's when we had our first Kenyan musicians that were coming out. But it was more of benga. It was not what we have right now. It's not genge, it's not gengetone. It was more benga, more classical.
So you're telling me what are you listening to hip-hop wise?
Hip-hop wise, I was a big Tupac fan.
Tupac, all eyes on me, Machiavelli.
DMX, oh my God.
I get it. I'm trying to understand who your influences were. Bangra?
Literally, I'll tell you, the hardest genre to make personally is Bangra.
It's crazy.
It's the most hardest and complex genre you can try to make.
What is complex about it?
The chords are not your typical chords. Like, let me tell you, when it comes to hip hop, R&B, gengetone, we probably use the same 7 chords. Like, we all just it's literally copy pasting. Like, it's just people don't realize it, but it's usually the exact same chords.
Yep.
So it's not as complex. Bangra is like very, very technical.
Okay. Back to Aga Khan. Are you at this time beginning to say music is what I'm doing? So you go to Aga Khan in the morning, you go to school in the morning. After school, what I'm hearing you say is that you go back to now this music school.
Yes.
Every day, even all the way from class 1 to class 8?
All the way.
So it's not like at this time, do you know what I want to do with my life is music?
Honestly, at that time, I hated it. I can't even lie to you. I used to prefer, you see the way I told you we downloaded the first Fruity Loops. Kwanzaa, that was an adventure. We had to use DHL, the dial-up system.
Yeah.
We had to get, our neighbor is the one who had a phone. So we had to give him the wire. He connects it through the fence. We put it in the car computer. And dial-up takes like...
Yep.
It took us like, I think the phone bill came and my neighbor's dad cut the phone. Like it was unbelievable. But then we finally got Fruity. So that one really helped. Because I think just playing the piano got boring for me. I wanted to record what I'm playing.
So when did you start making beats then? I
would say probably standard 5, standard 6. By the time I got my first version of Fruity Loops, that's when now I started really... Because, EJ, when I was saying I was like 5, EJ is like pre-made beats, little loops.
Yes.
And then all you have to do is just put like the symphony, put the kick, put the snare, and the beat is done. But it's kind of fun. It teaches you the basics.
That's crazy. So is your bro still also making beats? Amahim, this time he's Langard.
My bro continued making beats, but he never got that serious about it. Like him, I think he really loved books, and up to today, like he's still like me on Netflix. I'll just be watching series. He'll just be watching documentaries.
I'm like that. Docs.
He's a doctor, man.
Okay, so you start making beats around class 5.
Yeah.
Are people then singing on your beats? Are you taking it to school?
Funny enough, one of the first guys I started working with in the store was Cora.
Oh.
Cora.
Yes, I know Cora.
Kid Cora.
Yeah.
From the council.
Yes.
Yeah. That was like one of my first beat buddies.
So you'd make beats and he raps, or you make beats together?
No, only we used to make beats. There was a friend of ours called Bulisa, who was like, he was the only guy now with a fast computer and big speakers in the store. So he let us, we were trying to create, I think, what did we call it? I think Blaze Records. Like we wanted to create our first studio. And we were really young. So we would meet at Bulisa's every day after school or whatever you've done, and literally just sit there on a computer and make beats together. Cora taught me a lot.
Cora was your neighbor?
By that time we had moved.
So how did you get to know Cora?
A friend of mine called Karaoke was one of his friends, and another person who was our neighbor also was Matrax. So Matrax was a cool kid in the Esto who had an Xbox. So
you've moved, then that means you're not in Zimmerman?
No, we're no longer in Zimmerman.
You are now Ridgeways?
Yes.
Where in Ridgeways?
Runda.
No, where exactly?
Evergreen.
Oh, okay. No problems. I'm just doing some research. I know.
So that time now we would all hang out at Matrax's house.
So now you guys are just making beats?
As guys, playing Xbox and making beats.
I love it. Okay, sir, go on with this story. So you're in high school now, this beats things. You guys have sort of started this Blaze Records thing.
Blaze Records. Man, my first song was a flop. My second one was a flop. My third one was a flop. I remember to make my first song, I think my auntie sponsored it. She was from France. She was called Aunt Virginia. She's the one who sponsored. She gave me a towel. I went to this. It was a Kenyan. It was something to do with praise in Kenya. Najivunia kuwa Mkenya competition at KICC. And the winner was to get like 10K. I got 1K from my auntie. I put all that in studio time. We sang our hearts out.
Did you get anything?
Nothing.
You didn't win, Jack.
We didn't win nothing. I actually played it a few weeks ago, and I swear to God, it sounded horrible.
But your first productions are always the babies. You know what I mean?
It was horrible.
I want to ask you, what? So that means you're not doing. Your parents weren't doing too badly by the time you're leaving Zimmerman and going to Runda.
But they were not funding the music. They would not fund. They would. You wanna eat, you'll eat, but then
no music, nothing.
Nothing. I remember now the second song I started cutting now because everyone had to contribute for studio time. So the second song, I think I did it at Scratch Records. I had to cut my neighbor's grass. And lawnmower yao sikuwa na ile lawnmower ile ya mafuta ilikuwa ile lazima ukuwe na nguvu ile inakata. So that was I used to call it hustle and flow. Mchana na hustle, usiku na flow.
That's crazy.
So I would cut nyasis for guys. Once I'm paid, all of that goes into studio time.
So you really wanted to do this beat making thing?
Yeah, but then that song also flopped. But let me tell you the thing about success. You have to give failure as many chances as possible.
Bro, I love that. You have to give failure as many chances. I ain't giving failure too many chances. Hell no, man. But I hear what you're saying. Yeah. Basically, what you're trying to say is, you don't give up. Failure is guaranteed. It's guaranteed, but keep striving.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. You sound like you're like a motivational speaker sometimes. Inatokea tu. Inaanguka. So, okay, let's go back to this period in high school in Aga Khan.
Yes.
So you did class 1 to 8 in Aga Khan.
Aga Khan.
So tell me a little bit more about your experience there.
I think it was a basic. I had a happy childhood. I can't say I had a sad childhood or things were horrible. I had a pretty happy childhood, and I just happened to be really pushed. Like my mom would make sure I make 10 beats a day.
What?
10 beats a day, no matter what.
Dude.
Like even before my homework, like you have to make this 10 beats a day.
Your mom?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, this story, this is the first time I've had something like this. That was super supportive.
She was super supportive. Like my mom was like the biggest Issa fan. Like she would know about local songs before me.
Oh, so she's the one who introduced you to a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
So, okay, talking about local, are you listening to anything local now?
Right now?
Now, has it? No, not right now, like today, but I'm talking about at that time, in that era. So now
in that era, this is the time Ogopa is coming up.
Okay.
Like my biggest hero, Kina Nonini are coming up. Those are like the best. Those were like when I remember the first Ogopa CD. There was no song you could skip. Like that thing was fire from beginning to the end.
Unless you didn't like dance. Then those ones of Amani you'd skip.
I would not skip Amani.
No, the move ons. Definitely not Tahidi. Amani, amazing person. I had a convo with her recently. Okay, so I'm trying to understand, because all I'm hearing you talk about in this era is music. This Madi thing and the console, Bamzigi. Of course you met Bamzigi then?
Yo, those days we were the little kids in the house. As guys are playing Xbox, then you see Prezo just walk into the house. You know, Kina DJ Styles are upstairs. You just see Prezo walking up there. You're like, yo, that's Prezo.
That's insane. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're with Mad Tracks, Bums, that's the whole flow. Gitch Boy,
Yeah, the time Gitch Boys had just come out, those Gitch Boys, oh my goodness. Yeah. So I honestly did not really get to interact with them personally. I would not expect Gitch Boy to come and talk to like some 16-year-olds just sitting there playing Xbox. Okay.
So where did you go? So where then did you go to high school? Let's move on this story. Tell me a little bit about high school.
High school, I went to a school in Nyahururu, and oh my goodness, it was freezing cold. It was near Thompson Falls. So it was just one of those places that you just, honestly, I hated high school. I hated high school. Like, I had moved from like a Nairobi school to like a boarding school in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of shags. And I really just did not feel like dealing with high school at all. Like, it was one of those things that I felt like the only thing I liked about high school was the computer room. So I picked the lock for the computer room, and I had the master schedule for the whole school. So I knew when people are going to the computer lab. So every single empty block, I would never go to class. I would go straight to the computer room and be on FL Studio.
No way.
Yeah. I was actually caught. I messed up. One of the students I went to school with was Guido Kipkosia and Susan Kipkosia's son.
Marcus.
He's called Peter Kipkosia. So one day we went to make beats with him.
So are you talking about Ulopa? No.
Samawati.
No, yes. But what's his producer name? Is he a producer?
He produces, but then he didn't. I don't think the main producer at Samawati was Innovator. But then I'm talking about the son of Guido Kipkosia and Susan Kipkosia, who are the owners of Samawati. So he was also in the same school.
Marcus. Yes, it must be Marcus.
I remember him as Peter.
Or Ulopa. No, it's not Marcus. You're right. It's not Marcus.
Peter.
It's Peter.
Yes.
It's Peter Ulopa. Peter must be Ulopa. Anyway, we'll find out if Peter is Ulopa.
Okay, we'll find out. So me and Peter went. Now this is a mistake. I brought Peter into the computer lab gig. So we used to Skype classes. We just go make beats in the computer lab. And then when we know our class is coming, we go back. And I think he started bringing in more people. Like, he would bring in like 4 other people, 6 other people. We got busted.
Oh man. And that was not the drama.
And I'm telling you, he snitched on me like immediately.
It was this guy.
He has the key.
Oh man.
Yeah. Funny enough, I still continued even after my punishment, and they bought like now a Solex. Like I still figured out how to open it. And when I opened it, this time I didn't need to go with anyone.
Just go solo.
I used to go solo. But then the reason why I didn't take high school very seriously is because I knew I was going to redo it in America anyway. I had to do my last year again in America.
So did you know you guys were relocated to America?
Yeah, well, I knew I knew almost at Form 1 that we are moving.
So when were you going to move? When you are how old?
Right after high school.
So you're going to finish high school and then you're going to
go back and do a whole 1 year of high school again.
I get. So why were you relocating?